Okay, here we are back in the Hilltop Pillbox in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. And we are at the beginning of round 3. And boy, it has been a busy game. Lots and lots and lots of interesting stuff has happened. And we'll just get going. So it's the start of turn 3, which means at turn 2, the Germans said, "We're coming in." So that seems a little abrupt, though. I don't know. We have a little commentary here letting us know what the Germans were thinking about that. So could you tell me, Klaus, why did you guys end up invading on turn 2 into the Soviet Union? Didn't you have a pact?
Ja, und the pact was merely so we could take over France.
Which we did.
Ja, and so when we saw that Russians were not ready for us, we said, okay, we come on in. And so we are here, and we are here to stay.
Yeah, you know, I think the Russians might have something to say about that. Ivan, any thoughts on that?
Things are not going as poorly as perhaps you think. We are only been losing a few divisions. We have many divisions. As you know, the Soviet women give birth to 6 children at a time. They are very good at raising them to be fine young soldiers. And so we have more men than the Germans have bullets, and we are willing to prove that.
Okay, well, here's to not being born in the Soviet Union. Japan. Well, Hirohito, how are things going here? It looks like some interesting things have gone on in China, kind of the status quo, but some gaps forming now.
We have experienced a little bit of problem, but it will not last. We will go through, and we will be victorious for the Emperor.
Okay, I see also that you decided to also attack a little prematurely against the Americans here. Looks like you were able to scoop up the Philippines without too much trouble. And that big fleet that you had in the Caroline Islands, where did they go?
I don't want to talk about it.
No, I think you better tell us about it, because it looks like you guys sailed up here and actually landed in Hawaii. Now, I know there was a sizable American fleet there. Where'd that go? Hey, Tex, you want to tell me where they went?
Well, that was an interesting little fight there. Let me tell you something. Them Japs, they come on in and they start shooting the place up, but we stood our ground and we sank almost everything, but they had a damaged battleship and 3 loaded transports by the end of it. So so they took Hawaii, and there they are. But then we had a fabulous move from all the way over in the east there, way on that end of the world, way down there. We had a feller by the name of Doolittle. I don't know if you heard of him, but he flowed all the way from the east, flown around, come down here through the west, and he flew on down, and with the help of a destroyer from the west coast, he done sunk that battleship and survived with a bomber, which then landed in Wake Island. So we sank them transports, so them Japanese fellers, they're stuck there in Hawaii.
Well, you know, there's probably worse places to be stuck. And Anzac, what's going on here?
Well, we saved our money from the first round, oi? Bought ourselves a battleship.
Yeah, that is a nice looking battleship there. But I see that you've kind of moved out a little bit here and you got your planes. Are you feeling safe now? A little safer than before?
Oh, yeah. There's Japanese fleets at the bottom of the Pacific, oi? Except for that one there. It's got its own problems, though. You look over here.
Oh, the Indians. Oh, yeah, India. Yes, you still have a decent little fleet there, and you went over here. Now, I noticed that Persia, which is worth 2, that money had to go to the UK in London. Does that bother you at all?
Oh, well, a little bit. We took all the time and energy to go over there to Persia, and we were successful in taking it, but now we are to be giving it back to London. Perhaps this is not what we are wanting to do, but we are doing it because of the rules of the game.
Yeah, those rules get a little finicky sometimes, but looks like you guys are holding your own here, and looks like the Japanese are a little light on ground forces in the south here, so you might be able to hold on to Calcutta indefinitely if they're still busy up here.
Oh, I think that is a very good opportunity for us to show that we are better at war than perhaps people take us for. We would be throwing the balls of cricket at you.
Okay, have fun with that. Africa, big battle. Round 2 is a big round. So Italy had parked a few guys here in Alexandria, and the British decided to attack with everything they had. They brought in the 2 planes that were in Malta and everything they could, and they actually did very well. They ended up having 1 lone fellow left. They landed a plane there, and those 2 fellas came up from Persia. Yeah, Persia. And then they built the 3 mechs there in the factory. And down here, Italy has decided to kind of head back to Ethiopia for the moment, just collect 1 more in French Equatorial Africa. The French have moved down to kind of force the Italians to move into French Central Africa, which won't give the British any trouble, and take money away from the French, who are broke anyway.
That is not our fault, because the government, they went to London for the red wine and croissant, and we are left here in Africa with nothing,
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. I know there was a bit of an attack up here that cost a couple of Frenchmen, but you also thwarted the Italians. So it looks like Italy's got its work cut out for it. It decided to build some transports here and some ground troops to try to bring it down, but with the British factory there and a British factory here, that might prove a little too much for the Italians. And up here we've got our British correspondent, who is a little ticked at not being interviewed in the first round. Go ahead there and tell us what's going on.
Yes, well, it's been a brilliant time there in Britain. We've done a smashing job of defending the island, what? And we've been bombing the Hun a little bit. We've put a bit of a twist into the Paris factory, which now has 5 points of damage to it, and the Hun is unable to build out of there until they repair it. We do have a couple of annoying submarines who continue to convoy us, but we believe that our friends, the Americans, will come over and smash them all to pieces, what?
Well, that certainly could happen. So some of the hot spots in the board then are, we have the Eastern Front is warming up, and up there in Leningrad, big stack of infantry for the Russians. And for those who are wondering, the blue chip is 10. All right. Well, let's see what happens on turn 3. Okay, here we are. We're halfway through turn number 3. We're just going to take a look at what's going on here. Here is the Eastern Front, and a massive battle took place in Leningrad, and the Germans got diced a little bit. You want to talk about that, Klaus?
Yeah, well, not really. It says stupid dice.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Anyway, the Russians held on with a decent little stack of infantry. The Germans lost most of theirs, and then had to retreat to one spot, so they retreated to the Baltic states there. And the Russians decided that retreat was a good idea at this point, and are bulking up infantry and some decent armored response here in the south as the Germans push through as they get closer and closer to Stalingrad. Hopefully that won't be a problem for the Russians. What do you think there, Ivan?
I do not think either way. We are having large reinforcements coming from the east. They will be with us momentarily, and that will spell the end of the vaunted German Wehrmacht.
Well, hey, let's see what happens over there in a couple of turns. Looking at the Japanese here, looks like you're starting to push even further, get a little bit more aggressive. What do you figure there, Hirohito?
We will not be denied. We will attack, and we will be victorious.
Yeah, kind of looks like you were, but you're also very low on ground forces here. Building some more there. Looks like you built another factory in Hong Kong.
That is part of our master plan.
Oh, that's good. And losing most of your fleet. No other real Japanese threat out there. You built some transports and a couple of destroyers. But losing all your carrier fleet, is that part of the master plan as well? Okay, that's we're going to move on here. And we'll tell you what happens in the rest of turn 3 in just a moment. Okay, here we are at the end of round 3. Everybody has gone now. So we'll take a look at what happened. The Americans brought over a bunch of stuff here, landed their plane, brought the plane down from Iceland. And they did all that. But they also tried something that didn't quite work out this time. They brought that bomber from Wake and a fighter that was on Guam, and they attacked that little fleet. There were 2 destroyers, 2 transports, and they were hoping to land up in the Soviet Union. Didn't go as well as you had planned. Anything to say about that?
Well, sometimes you're the dog and sometimes you're the hydrant.
Okay, I get it. Well, maybe next time, you know, that it was a bold move, but sometimes things just don't work out for you that way. The Aussies came up north here and took a little bit of their own territory, so congrats.
Yeah, you're welcome, yeah. We have to be very careful that the Japanese don't come and sink us, eh?
Okay. They sure could now, though, so be careful. The British retreated back into Cairo, and then the Italians grabbed everything they could and dropped it off right here. So there's not much left. Oh, they got to put their build on yet. But they're knocking at the door again. The British do have a chance to bring in some fast units to maybe bulk up the defense, but things are looking a little grim in Cairo right now. One more pan up on the Eastern Front. Going to be possibly some big battles next turn. Leningrad will no doubt fall. And India, well, India's India. Things are going well there. And yeah, they keep moving guys back. And yeah, should be ready to go for round 4 in just a moment.